Shenanigans and More. This is your psycho host, Psycho Alex. Shout out, coming all the way from California. Just wanted to tell you guys, hope you guys are having a great weekend. Unfortunately, I'm still trying to get together, just doing shows, trying to edit these videos and trying to do all this stuff. And I did take the weekend off for 4th of July. Yay! And I did spend it with my family, so that's why there was no video last week. So I'm trying to keep up with this YouTube life. But how are you guys doing? I'm still keeping up with the wigs and the colors because the hair is going through a little process, so I don't want to give it all away just yet. But today's episode is actually a really cool thing that I decided to do a little research. I those of you who know a little bit more about my background is that I'm a what did I call myself? Oh, I'm a field therapist. So I wanted to go to school for psychology, and I wanted to do all the things about therapy and to do more research and just about behavior and reasons why we do things. So I actually went ahead and asked a bunch of people that I know um, about money. So, who pays on a date? Like, do we always expect the man to pay? Who asks who? Does it matter who asks who? And also at the end of the day, who gets to have the bills, the bigger bills when we move in together and do those things? So does it matter? Do we just expect each other to pay? Do we split it? Is that even a thing? I mean, a lot of people from like our parents and before like kind of think that that's not the way to go. But they also lived in a different economy than we did, so most of us kind of have to share the bills in order to survive, right? But here's a little bit of what they said and a little bit about what I was able to find out. So I did ask, so the basically is who pays on a date, 50-50. Do we split it? And what about when you live together? So basically I asked some women and I asked some men, and they're not necessarily asked some women or some men, and they're not necessarily heterosexual or gay or bi or anything in particular. I just asked my friends and see what they wanted to say and see how they worked it out with their partners, regardless of their likes, right? And so I asked this woman, and she said, I think it's equal, but both ways, regardless of the situation. One date or dinner, I pay, and then the next, he or she pays, and vice versa. It's always been the same, equal for me. I asked another man, and he said, if she offers, she can pay, regardless if one of us makes more or not. We can also split it, but if she offers, I will accept it. I think living together, we will split everything. So, like I mentioned, a lot of us now, these are like just people that are basically my age, so 30, millennials. But I feel like a lot of us come from like the idea that if we have this like um in a perfect world, we make all the money that we need, and like our partners wouldn't have to worry about a thing, or we can all make them both make all the money in the world that we need, and then we would be able to treat each other right. But sometimes in certain situations and the real world, we don't make the money that we wish we had. So, splitting it is a one perfect option. And then if you do make the money and you do prefer for your partner to stay home and be with the kids or etc., depending on their income or whatever, that's totally cool too. So, um, another lady said, if they ask me out, I'm still expecting myself to pay at least half the bill. If they are But if they're persistent about paying, I'll accept it. If I ask them out, I expect myself to cover the entire bill. If they offer to pay for their half, I would decline and say, "You got me next time." This way, you also let them know you're interested in going out again. As far as living together, that's to be discussed between the two people. It will probably depend on on how much each person makes. Now, this was one of the things that I hadn't really thought about, but it makes total fucking sense. Um, so she goes on by saying, "This way, bills get covered accordingly with no issue, but communication is always good. I never issues." Never assume in these kinds of situations. So if you guys are able to discuss within each other, like let's say you get paid every 2 weeks, but the other partner gets paid every week, then at least we would know that each one of us can cover certain bills that happen at certain times and certain dates and stuff. And so, that's definitely cool. So this week's painting or art article is one that my beautiful friend Angela um got for me from a really cool friend of hers that does her own crafts and stuff. So you guys can check her out on Instagram. I will be adding her information down below, and you guys can check out her work. Ding. Um, uh, but So yeah, so someone else said, if a girl asks me out, I'll offer to pay, but if she tells me she got it, then that's fine with me. If I ask a girl out, I pay. If we live together, we both work, then we can take turns. Now, if I'm the only one working, then I'll pay, and exactly vice versa. Now, it's kind of funny because my hair looks funky, doesn't it? It's kind of funny because I was just actually looking like at a meme. Um, that I don't even know if it's a meme. It was like a whole ass conversation via text of like someone telling them that if now that she got this great job, this girl was like celebrating about the job, and so the partner was like, "Okay, babe, now that you have this great job, I have like a lot of issues that I gotta deal with, and I gotta see a therapist, and I must quit my job." And so then now, since I've been helping you all this time, take care of everything, and get you to go to school, can you now cover for me and take care of me? And she was super like, no, like I don't want to be with a lazy person and all this stuff, while the whole time the partner was taking care of her. Now, it's kind of crazy because, you know, there is people that will take advantage of you. I think it happened to me. But I was really excited. And I really thought that, um, we can split it and it wouldn't feel like roommatey. Like a friend of mine said that, and it's like, well, it's just everything's cool until it starts to feeling like we're roommates. And I'm like, well, that's kind of how it ended up being in my situation. I lived with my partner, and we ended up feeling just like roommates that were having sex. And I mean, a lot of other stuff was happening as well. It wasn't just the money, but it was difficult. Also, the thing that I started to think about, the more that I asked people questions and the more that they brought up with different stuff, was that it always matters as well as like how you're brought up, like how your dynamics about money and how you manage money have a lot to do about what your parents teach you. Um, my mom always taught me to stretch money, and I never really learned to stretch money until 2020 because I needed to stretch that EDD money. Um, but because I'm the kind of person that I don't like to hear a no. Like if I'm craving something, if I want to get something, I'm gonna freaking get it because that's why I work my ass off. It's not guaranteed that I'm gonna live tomorrow, so I'm gonna eat whatever I want and enjoy whatever I want, and fuck that. Like that's why I work for it, right? Um, but I also need to learn to save or need to learn to make certain things, and like in case of emergencies or in case of desires that I want to be able that cost more money, that I want to be able to save money for, and stuff. And so it's just really crazy. Anyway, I'm talking a lot and out of topic. So um this person, as woman actually, she said, I don't believe in men paying only. I think it's mutual. If I invite, I pay. If they invite, they pay, they can pay. It pisses me off when men try to fight me over the bill. Like, I am a working woman and can pay for a date. If I'm continuously seeing someone, I like an alternating between the two of us paying the dates. Now, it's a thing because it's kind of funny because she actually mentioned this entire situation of um like her asking someone out and this dude like fighting to pay for the bill, and the waitress took his card, and she even had the audacity to tell her to her face that she's always gonna take the man's card. And like, we go back to, yes, some dudes, though, some people, not just dudes, but like some people take advantage. Okay. But you know, we like to we as and I cannot speak for all women, but we as women, we work our asses off too. You know, we're in a generation where a lot of women are also making more money than men. And I read a a thing about an article saying that um women feel bad. We don't feel bad. We don't. We've been fighting for women to be paid what we deserve. And if we're working our asses off and we're going to school and learning all the stuff we need to work to get the pay that we deserve, you better fucking add that zero to my check. You know? Um but um I hate it. I hate that we still kind of have these like machista views, or like this like certain circumstances where like, we still see it. And women are expensive. I mean, partnerships in general, but women who like to get their nails did and want like their hair done and all this stuff, like, I cost myself a lot of money because of all the shit that I do to myself. Okay? And I don't spoil myself as much as I should. But I can even imagine like what it would be like to have a partner that I would have to pay all this stuff for. Like, not necessarily have to, but like, I don't know, if she's demanding or he's demanding, I would just be like, boy, get your ass to work. um she said bills depend on what's used. She said, if I'm dating a gamer who is up until 3 in the morning using the internet and electricity, he's paying for that. I'm not paying for that. Someone else said, if not, it's not about I love this one. I love this one. Shout out to Cowboy. You know who you is. It's not about expecting to pay for something, or to pay if a person offer, or to pay for something or other. If a person offers, then they pay. If I take someone out on a date, then I'll pay. I guess I'm old school like that. But in my marriage, I have always given my checks to my wife. We have a joint account, and it's our money and our expenses. Together, we both contribute. So it's all together. It's the way of controlling the relationship. Not one of us is more valuable than the other, and we are equal, which I think it's amazing. And now they even have a business together, which is awesome. And I the only thing that I have about that is I like to surprise my partners. So if I don't, it looks kind of crazy and kind of creepy that you have all these eyes looking at you guys. Or at me while I'm recording. But the thing I have against that is that if we have a joint account and I'm trying to surprise you, it's always gonna be like, oh, you pulled that amount? Oh, you made that purchase? It looks a little shady, and always having to make up excuses as to why I'm using my money. Like, I'm making my money. Maybe that's why it didn't work out with my last relationships. Yeah. Joint account sounds nice. So if it makes the expenses work out, also like auto pay, and you would have a joint account, like you would never you would never have any issues, because it's like the all the bills would get paid, and you would always have money. Does my head look weird? You will always get paid, and your bills will always get paid, and there wouldn't be any issues or like late fees and stuff. You know, it's kind of cool. Um, Someone else said it's a variation of who offers to pay. People with stronger leading personalities will tend to be the ones to take charge and do the payments and stuff. You know, and I feel like that's kind of like how I am. Um, I have asked dudes on a date. I have asked dudes on a date, and I think I don't remember. I haven't dated in a while. I feel like that's another thing. Everything is so freaking casual now that it's like, are we just hanging out like friends? Like maybe I got you, you got me next time. It's not even it's not even like real dates anymore, you know? It's just like we're just chilling and we're just hanging out and we're just gonna have some food. Um, but yeah, I feel like when I actually split it with my partner, he took a little bit advantage of me because some of the things that were not discussed was like, one of the things that I personally mentioned when I was talking to someone is that vacations. You know, I lived with my partner. I like to travel. I mean, it's not like I can leave the country, but I like to travel and go out to places where I can go and enjoy the trip. You know, if I want to go fucking if I went to Vegas, okay, and if I wanted to spend some money, if I wanted to eat wherever I wanted to eat, I hate being limited about food. That is one of the things that I will always complain about, because you cannot you cannot restrict food, and maybe that's why I'm fat. But I just hate that. I feel like it always, like I was saying, it has to do with your background, it has to do with how you were brought up and now how you think and stuff. But um you know, it just, I hate being restricted about food, about what I want to order, and why if you don't have money but I do, like I got us, you know, I'm never gonna not take care of us both. If you take care of me, I take care of you. Um, but I feel like nowadays it's very confusing, especially for my generation, because we don't have those gender roles either of like men pay this and women pay, like men pay this because we have the house and the housewife and the children and the stuff, like that doesn't really happen anymore. We have single moms, and we have moms with boyfriends or husbands who are stepdads, and the relationship is different now. Like I said, you need at least two incomes, especially in LA and California, to meet ends meet. So like, you know, it makes it super complicated and super confusing, I feel like, for a lot of us. I mean, again, I don't mind paying for a date. If I ask a guy out, I'm gonna test it. I'm gonna test it because I was seriously thinking about this whole thing, and I was just like, I can't distinctly remember to tell you guys a story about a time that I tried to pay and the dude didn't let me, or like, if I did, it wasn't a date. I'm horrible. Oh well, actually, rather recently, 2020 pandemic, the year, unspeakable year. Uh, I was with my dude, at the time, my situationship. I was with the situationship at that time, and we went to get some food. Now this place, you know, suddenly, well, I mean, always takes debit card and stuff, and suddenly it said cash only, and so I happen to have cash, miracle, because I never do, and I said, oh yeah, that's fine, don't worry about it, I'll get it, you know, for us. But he would always buy me food after hooking up, or like, you know, kicking it or whatever. You know, so what was one day gonna happen? It wasn't gonna hurt me. I wasn't gonna be broke because I used $25 to pay for our food. Like, you know, it was whatever. But he got so offended because he was like, I'm the man, I'm supposed to pay for it, I'm gonna go get an ATM and pay you your money back. And I'm like, it's just food. Like, it wasn't a big deal. um but that is a really crazy thing too, is that I was, during this entire investigation, I was actually looking at how, to me, if I'm with a partner or a hookup or whatever, and I happen to get some food, or gas money or something, I don't know, I feel like I'm being called a prostitute. Like, okay, we just had sex, or okay, we're hooking up, or hanging out, or we're going out. Even when I had my fiance, like at the beginning, it was really awkward for, like, I would be starving. Like, I would know that tomorrow, if I paid for gas right now, I was not gonna have money for food, and um for lunch. And so it was so crazy because, like, I would be stressed out about money, and then he would hand me money or tell me that he would fill up my tank, and I would be like, I'm gonna pay you back. And then when I would get paid, I would pay him back, because I don't know, I think it's a part of my pride. It was a part of, like, how I was brought up. And I just don't like, and someone brought it up too, I just don't feel like, I hate it when people try to own you and, like, say, well, I give you this, I give you that, and that's why you have it. And I hate that. I hate that. So in a relationship or on a date, I would hate to be like, oh yeah, well, I paid for this. You know what I would say then? Take your $60, take your money, your $30, whatever the fuck it is, and shove it up your. That's what I would say. Because I hate it when people, in Spanish we call it cantando, cuando te cantan, whatever they did for you. If it comes out of your heart and you're doing it for me, then just do it. If you don't want to do it and you're gonna tell me, oh, I did this for you, I did that for you, you know what? Bye. Don't even bother. I'm not gonna accept it. So, to me it was really funny, because I was like, well, you know um I will pay you back, because I don't like to be owned. What else? Someone else said other things. Oh, we have also I didn't get to jot it down, his what he said, but he also, another person said, wait, before I forget, shout out to DJ Fat Kid. Whoop whoop. I totally forgot to shout out you last video, and I apologize. I really loved our conversation about sizes and the motion of the ocean, and how you always get callbacks. Hey, um, well, when you're dating, I don't know if you're taken now, but when you're dating or hooking up or whatever. But thank you so much for your help. I really appreciate it. Our conversation was super awesome, and I forgot that to shout you out at the last video. But back to the topic. So another thing is that we have also, like, the super you know cultured raced men who still think that they're not, like, necessarily, how can I say it without sounding like a machista? Because he's not a machista. He's super super sweet and wants to take care of his wife. He even said how, like, being a housewife and a mother is a job, and it's true, it's a really hard job, and they do it all the time, and they take care of the kids, and they take care of the house, and they deserve it. They deserve to be taken care of. So he says that that's what he does. He pays all the bills, he takes care of everything, and even on vacation and all that, he takes care of it, because he believes that his wife does more than enough by staying home and taking care of the kids and cooking and cleaning and taking care of everything. And I believe it's true too. I honestly believe and agree with him. The thing about, again, he's I think he's my age or so. They're the partner, the couple. But the thing about it is that not all of us get to do that. Not all of us get to take care of their partner, and not all of us get to have a job. I saw some comments on some of the posts that I saw that were talking about, yeah, well, those are some lazy boys, or some, like, cheap asses, and it's not about being a cheap ass or not. Like, especially with like we can talk about this for hours, but especially when like educated people now are, especially right now, I just realized how many times I said especially. I should give you guys a treat every time I say especially. Yeah. But especially right now after the pandemic and all of the stuff of like the working force getting coming back, and like coming back to working and getting it together, and um you know, now we have educated as people doing minimum wage jobs because there's just never enough openings for people who are going out and having careers. And so, um, you know, it fucking sucks. It sucks that you work your ass off and now you're in debt and now you have to do this, like, you know, getting experience kind of bullshit and doing dead end jobs so that you can, like, get to take care of your shit, you know, currently until you finally get your dream job and stuff. And like, it's so crazy to me. So when you have a couple of the or this partnership and you both have school debt or you're both working towards something, and then you have kids, or you know, life gets in the way and shit, like it's expensive, it's crazy, you know. So yeah, you need two incomes, you need to be able to pitch in, and then if you have kids in the middle of the mix, then you know it's a lot. And we don't get to go and have a white picket fence and have the family hang out and have picnics and have barbecues with the neighbors and stuff. I'm not saying it's impossible. You know, I think my cousin's doing a great job. Love you, cousin. Shout out. But you know, it costs her a lot. It costs both of them a lot to get to what they are, and not all of us get to do that, and not all of us get to have that. You know, but so when you go on a date, do you pay? Does the partner does the person you invite pay? Do you guys split it 50-50? Comment below, let me know. Go to Shenanigans and More on Instagram. Also, if you guys like to give me any topics and tell me anything, I would greatly appreciate it. And I feel like I look like a smurf. I like super tanned. Happy belated 4th of July weekend. I love you guys so much. Again, this is just my random ass opinion. This is just shit that I gather, shenanigans that I gather from my friends, from people I know, from people I ask at random at my poor job. I hope I don't get fired. But you know, I just really want to know what the fuck, like, what do you guys think? We live in a different economy, in a different time, where our parents and our great grandparents didn't have to deal with gender roles are switching, you know, we're having stay-home dads and all that stuff, and that's all fucking great. Trust me, I am praising it. I am with the times. But how is it, like, how do we do things? How do we deal? How are, I guess at the end, like my friend said, at the end of the day is communication and figuring out who gets paid when and how it all works out. But whatever the combination is, or whatever your combination is, if you're winning and you're staying good in life, keep at it. You know, let us know. Pass us on the recipe, and maybe it might work for us. And so just leave a comment below, hit a thumbs up for a like, and support us. And you can also support small businesses like my friend's friend who made this beautiful art piece of Frida Kahlo. And like I said, I will put her information down below. And yeah, man, fucking totally. We are in the middle of 2021. Yeah, that happened. And we have tons of stuff. I have tons of stuff that I want to talk to you guys about. But I just need to make the time. You know, I just need to, because this gorgeousness just doesn't happen just overnight. I'm just kidding. But you know what? There's a lot of stuff that goes into finally getting all this situated and get you guys post and get a video posted. But I'm working on it, you guys. I'm working on it. Sometimes I just need mental days because I get drained. But I have new episodes, really cool stuff that I want to talk to you guys about. Um, Quite possibly next episode will be about death. Wow, super dark, right? Pretty mournful. But it's just pretty much like death and all its friends, which means like all the stages of grief. I don't really know exactly what they are, so I will be looking them up and tell you guys a little bit more about it. And just like I'm gonna be talking about a lot of stuff about death, and hopefully I can make it fun and not totally creepy. But I just want you guys to know, have an awesome time. I love you guys. I appreciate everything you do, and hit that like and 50-50. Who wants to go out on a date? Let me know and we can split it. So have a good night, guys. This has been Shenanigans and More, and this is Alex, your psycho host, Psycho Alex. So love you guys, all my psychos. Shout out, kisses. Shout out to Ocotlan. Shout out, I forgot the other name, the whole name. Ocotlan. Shout out to DJ Fat Kid. Shout out to my beautiful singer friend from Know Your Enemy. And who else? Shout out to my brother. I love you. Mwah. And my brother who takes care of his family and pays all the bills and takes care of and takes care of everything that needs to be required. And I love you for being that man for your family. It's totally freaking awesome, and I support it. But you know, the times, we got to figure it out what to do with the times. Other than that, shout out, take care, and this has been Shenanigans and More. Wow!